Imagine being trapped in complete darkness. Water rising around you, inch by inch. No food, no way out. The air getting thinner with every breath, and you're just a child. A critical cave rescue operation where 20 countries joined forces to assist. Even Elon Musk expressed interest in visiting the site. But Vernon Unsworth said,
"It wouldn't have made the first 50 metres into the cave from the dive start point. Just a PR stunt."
On June 23, 2018, 12 boys and their soccer coach stepped into the Tham Luang cave in Thailand for what they thought would be a fun adventure. But within hours, heavy rains flooded the cave, sealing their escape. They were trapped over 2 miles deep inside the earth, in a cold, pitch-black labyrinth of twisting tunnels and rising water. No one knew if they were alive, no one knew how to reach them, and even if rescuers found them, how could they possibly bring them back?
How far they have gone.
This is the incredible true story of the Thai cave rescue. A heart-stopping race against time, nature, and impossible odds. A story of survival, courage, and the world coming together to save 13 lives. But how did they survive for so long in the dark? And how did rescuers pull off one of the most dangerous missions in history? On June 23, 2018, after football practice, the team decided to do something adventurous. Their assistant coach, Ekapol Chanthawong, known as Coach Ek, suggested exploring the Tham Luang Nang Non cave. The boys, aged 11 to 16, were excited. It was about 11 in the morning when they packed their bags, hopped on their bicycles, and headed to the cave. When they went into the cave, they were really happy and having fun. But their fun didn't last long. There was a warning sign at the entrance. Do not enter between July and October. It was monsoon season, and the cave often flooded. However, it was only June, and the rains hadn't started yet. Coach Ek thought it would be safe. They planned to explore for just an hour and return before dark. They walked further into the cave, and things started to change. The path got smaller and harder to walk on. The boys stopped laughing and got quiet. The air felt heavy, and they could hear water dripping everywhere. Then, they saw the water was rising quickly, blocking the way they came in. It had rained a lot outside, and the cave was filling up with water. They got scared. Their fun trip had turned into something dangerous. They were stuck. The boys and their coach were now trapped. They had no food, no water, and no way to call for help. The cave was dark, cold, and silent. The only sound was the rushing water. Back home, the boys' parents grew worried. It was late, and their children hadn't returned. They called the head coach, who quickly realized something was wrong. He rushed to the cave and found the boys' bicycles and bags near the entrance. The water was rising fast. He called the police and emergency services. The search begins. News spread quickly.
Football team and their coach are missing.
Thought to be trapped in an underground cave.
Every minute is important.
Soon the entire world knew about the 13 people trapped inside the cave. Rescue teams from Thailand and around the globe rushed to help. Authorities quickly set up a crisis center. The Thai Navy SEALs arrived to lead the search, but they faced a terrifying challenge. Tham Luang is Thailand's fourth longest cave, stretching over 10 kilometers deep into the mountain. The cave was no ordinary place. It was a maze of narrow passages, flooded chambers, and complete darkness. A British cave diver, Vernon Unsworth, who knew the cave well, joined the rescue. He contacted the British Cave Rescue Council, and soon, expert divers like John Valanthan and Richard Stanton arrived. They brought specialized equipment and began diving into the cave. John worked as an IT consultant. Rick was a retired firefighter. They weren't soldiers or professional rescuers, but they possessed rare skills perfectly suited for these nightmare conditions. While the Thai Navy SEALs were elite military divers, they had never faced anything like this. Cave diving requires completely different skills than open water diving. The conditions inside the cave were horrifying. The divers couldn't see anything. The water was thick with mud, like swimming through coffee. The current was so strong they often had to pull themselves along the bottom, feeling their way forward in total darkness.
There was a really strong current. You probably couldn't swim against it for a long distance, so we were on the floor with our hands in the sand, pulling ourselves along. That was the only way to make it.
With each passing day, hope dimmed. The boys had only planned to spend an hour in the cave. They surely had no food. And worse, the rains kept coming, raising water levels higher and flooding more of the cave. The British divers placed guide ropes as they went, creating a lifeline through the flooded passages. Their target was a section called Pattaya Beach, a raised chamber where the boys might have escaped the floodwaters. But the worsening weather forced them to pause their search. Still, no one gave up. The Thai Navy SEALs worked non-stop, setting up a forward base in a dry chamber called Chamber 3. Hundreds of volunteers joined from around the world, including Saman Kunan, a retired Thai Navy SEAL who volunteered to help. They tried everything: diverting rivers, drilling holes from above, pumping water out of the cave. But nothing seemed to work.
They are trying to furiously pump as much water out of this cave as possible.
In previous cave rescues, drilling has been used as a way to get people out.
After 9 long days, the rain eased slightly. John and Rick decided to push deeper than ever before. They swam far past Pattaya Beach, breaking all the rules of safe diving. They had used too much air and gone too far, but something drove them forward. Then, as they surfaced in a small air pocket, they spotted something in the darkness. A faint light. Voices echoed off the walls. The British divers turned on their camera. All 12 boys and their coach perched on a small muddy slope above the water. They had survived for 9 days without food, drinking only water dripping from the cave walls.
Yes, but you can. How many of you? 13. Brilliant. Many people are coming. Many people. We are the first. Many people come.
The world erupted in joy. They were alive. News crews from every country broadcast the miracle.
Dramatic scenes in Thailand.
Against all odds, rescuers in Thailand have found 12 missing boys.
Well, what an amazing day.
But the rescuers knew a terrible truth. Finding the boys was the easy part. Getting them out would be nearly impossible.
Finding them is one thing, but what are you going to do next?
The impossible rescue. 3 options emerged, all seemingly impossible. First, teach the boys to dive through the flooded passages. But many couldn't even swim, and panic underwater would mean certain death. Second, drill a rescue shaft from above. But the boys were almost a kilometer below solid rock, and no one knew exactly where to drill. Third, wait until the rainy season ended in November. But oxygen levels in the chamber were already dangerously low, and more rains could completely flood their safe spot. As rescuers debated, tragedy struck. The volunteer diver lost consciousness while placing oxygen tanks along the route. His dive partner found him in the water, but it was too late. He had died trying to save the boys. With no good options left, a desperate plan formed. What if they sedated the boys, put them completely unconscious, and then carried them through the flooded cave like packages? Rick called his friend Dr. Richard Harris, an Australian anesthesiologist and cave diver. Richard thought the idea was insane, too risky, too dangerous. But when he arrived in Thailand and saw the situation firsthand, he realized there was simply no better option.
Sedate these youngsters to such a level that they were incapacitated but remain alive, and then be thrust into the cold water was an extremely risky proposition.
The race against time. A team of the world's top cave divers came together. Their plan was risky. Sedate each boy. Put a full-face diving mask on them. Tie their hands to stop them from pulling off the mask if they woke up, and carry them through the flooded cave. If anything went wrong, if the mask leaked, if a boy woke up underwater, or if a diver got stuck in a tight passage, it would mean certain death.
The worst fear was losing contact with the guideline and losing contact with the boy. A child's life that's in your hands, a child who's asleep.
On July 8th, the rescue started. Each unconscious boy was tied to a diver who swam through the dangerous flooded tunnels. In the dark, divers had to inject more sedatives using
I
syringes.
was on my own. There was no dry place to put the boy, and I needed to inject the sedative into his thigh.
In dry sections, the boys were strapped to stretchers and carried over sharp rocks. 4 boys were rescued on the first day. 4 more followed the next day. The world watched, holding its breath.
Mission Impossible has now become Mission Incredible.
Well, this is what all of those who've been involved in this operation have been waiting to see. The boys are coming out.
The buzz was amazing. It was quite incredible that we got the first 4 out.
On the 3rd day, as they prepared to rescue the last boy, the smallest of the group, a problem arose. The diving mask wouldn't fit his face. No matter how hard they tried, it wouldn't seal. In a desperate move, they used a small recreational mask, not meant for such dangerous conditions. It barely fit, but they had no other option. The final dive began, with everyone knowing the mask could slip off at any moment. The stakes had never been higher. On July 10th, after 18 long and grueling days, the impossible became possible. All 12 boys and their coach were safely brought out of the cave.
They are safe, they are out, they have done it.
They have been rescued from that flooded cave.
Millions of people around the world are breathing easier tonight.
A mission that many experts had called impossible was finally complete. But this success came with a heavy cost. In total, 2 courageous men lost their lives so that 13 others could live. What happened in that cave in Thailand was more than just a rescue. It showed what humans can achieve when they come together, refuse to give up, and face impossible challenges with courage and creativity. Though the rescue was a success, 2 heroes gave their lives in the process. Drop some words in their honor in the comments below. That's all for today's incredible story. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video. Until next time, stay curious and keep believing in the impossible.